Alright, so a couple days ago I did a ball python egg cutting video, and today I peeked in the incubator and it looks like both of the hatchlings are out of the egg. It was actually a clutch of just 2 eggs. And at the time when I was recording that video, I actually just kind of cut them open and peeked inside. And the first one I thought for sure was a fire pied. And then the second one, I was pretty much 100% sure that the second one was a fire pied. And I started thinking about it, thinking, hey, I think that first one might have been actually a fire pinstripe pied because it was a little bit darker than the second one. So it'd be kind of interesting to go back and look at those hatchlings completely out of the egg and see if I actually ended up with the fire pinstripe pied on that hatchling. So I'm going to pull them out of the incubator and let's check them out. Alright, so here's the box out of my incubator. This was actually a cross between a pinstripe pied and a fire pied. And we got mostly slugs in this clutch, all except for these 2 eggs, and they both hatched. So let's take a look at these guys. Alright, got a couple eggs, couple snakes. So I knew I was at least going to get pieds out of these. So let's take a look at this. Alright. So, interesting. Very interesting. So yes, they are definitely different. The weird thing is one of them has only one eye. I think it's this one. Take a look at that. No eye on that side. And this side he has an eye. And during that video I was actually saying I couldn't post it over on Morph Market, and then I was thinking about selling it, and I already had a whole bunch of people that said they want to buy this snake. I was like, this snake is not ready yet. And I might actually keep this snake. This is a pretty cool combination, just to kind of see how it, whoa, he is feisty. Wow, look at that. Wow, a hatchling biting right out of the incubator box. That is unusual. Wow. For a ball python, that is really unusual. This guy is really feisty. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this one with the one eye, I'm pretty sure this is the fire pinstripe pied. Because the pinstripe pied actually is a lot more gold. It looks like a pinstripe, but the fire really brings out a lot of the color in this one. So that's pretty interesting. And this one, I believe this one is a fire pied. And if actually, after it sheds out, it's going to be really super bright. Both of these will be really bright. And they both kind of fade as they age and mature, unfortunately. So let's take a look at this one first. And I think just the fire pieds kind of hold up a little bit better than like the fire pinstripe pieds. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Take a look at this. Right on his neck, it looks like he has some paradoxing. Like some, kind of like a blackish gray right along his neck. That's pretty wild. It goes all the way around. Look at that. Huh. This is a really unique snake. One eye, fire pin pied, paradox. That is pretty wild. Look at how much white he has on him too. Lots of white on the back end of the snake. Kind of a crazy looking snake. Interesting, but let's make sure he doesn't have any kinks or anything since he has one eye. I wonder if the one eye kind of makes him a little bit nervous or snappy. Maybe it kind of freaks him out that he just has one eye. It looks really straight. Looks really good. I find, especially on these hatchlings, if they start to snap, the best thing to do is kind of rest their head right on your hand, and it seems like it gives them confidence to where it kind of calms them down a little bit. Kind of an interesting, it looks like his mouth is straight. Just one eye is just missing. It's kind of interesting. Really interesting snake. Let's look at his belly. Make sure there's nothing going on for his belly button here. Looks good. Looks really good. I can't believe he snapped. That was pretty wild. That's a pretty good looking snake. So with one eye, I can't post him over on Morph Market. I'm thinking maybe I'll keep this guy at least for a little while and kind of watch as he kind of ages and matures a little bit and see how the colors change. I've never actually produced one of these before, so it's really fascinating. It's a pretty interesting combination. I'd be curious to see if he's a male or female. I was actually thinking on that other one, I'm tempted to hold back the other one too, because if you breed two fire pieds together, you could get an all-white snake, which would be a super fire pied, which would be pretty powerful. So if you bred it to something, if you bred it to another pied, you would get all fire pieds, which would be pretty awesome, especially if you worked other genes like Orange Dream or something in the mix. That's a pretty cool looking snake right there. He's pretty chunky too. All right, so I'm gonna pull a name out of the jar here. Just pull a random name. I had a whole bunch of suggestions for names, and a lot of people wanted to buy this one. All right, so this guy's name is Echo. All right, so this is my setup for my hatchlings. Let's see if I can do this without getting bit. He was looking at me like he was gonna bite me. And then I kind of freaked him out. He is a feisty little guy, I can't believe it. All right, so this is my one-eyed firepin pied paradox. That is quite a mouthful right there. So what I do is I just kind of clear away a little spot in the back of the tub, and the hot spot goes right over here. I like to keep them right on here. And the funny thing is when they go to the bathroom, usually they'll crawl up on the coconut husk, use the bathroom, and then crawl back, so I can just kind of spot clean up here. Then I have like an 8-ounce disposable water cup. I put a little binder clip on the front. Kind of have different positions for, I use a lot of these binder clips. Usually what I do is, so for a hatchling, if I'm going through and feeding, I'll actually move it over to the right and flip it up if I put a live mouse hopper in there. And then if he eats, I'll mark it on the card and flip it down, and then go through, and I know who ate the live mouse hopper and who still has the live mouse hopper in there. And I always take out the water with the live mice, because the hoppers can drown in the water, so if you're feeding live mouse hoppers. And then once they get over to frozen thawed, I'll actually put 2 binder clips over here, so I can look through, know who's on frozen thawed, who's still got one in, who's ate, who's on frozen thawed or on live. And then usually once everyone eats my collection for the week, I'll actually bring them all back to the center, and then pretty much start the whole process over. And if they don't eat, I'll actually move it over to the left. So usually at the end of the week, I'll go and look at, kind of like through my rack, and I'll see which ones haven't eaten. A lot of times I'll actually follow up with something else, try to get them to eat, like offer a second time, maybe a third time on some of them. And then at the end of the week, I bring them all back to the center. That's kind of my binder clip logistics. And it really depends too on if they all get over to frozen thawed. What I'll actually do is when I post them on Morph Market, then I'll put 2 clips on the right to indicate that I've posted them on Morph Market. It kind of means different things for different size hatchlings that are ready to go. So it can kind of change depending on what kind of hatchlings I have in the tubs. All right, so for the label, I actually put a label above every tub, and this one, you can see his name is Echo, and then here I have C1222, so it's the 12th clutch of 2022, and then he or she is a fire pin pied paradox with one eye, which is kind of crazy. That's one of the craziest snakes I've ever produced. All right, so let's take a look at this last snake here. And once these shed out and brighten up, they are absolutely stunning. It's hard to tell from this right here because it's really deep in shed. Well, let's take a look at this guy. Crazy looking snake. I remember when I saw I saw these on Morph Market. I don't know if these are really popular. When I was looking on Morph Market, I didn't really see a lot of these fire pieds. The fire really lightens them up. And I know it works really well with other brightening genes like Orange Dream. So take a look at that. Look at how much pattern he's got. Pretty wild looking snake. Look at that pattern. That is pretty cool. All the way down the back of the snake. That's one of the coolest pies I think I've ever produced. It's kind of a low white pie, but has a lot of really repeating patterns. Really looks exotic, I'd say. Let's see if he's got any kinks. Make sure he's nice and straight. Make sure he has both eyes. This guy looks good. Looking good, looking good. Belly looks good. That's an awesome looking snake right there. I might just keep him just because he's an awesome looking snake. I don't know if it's a male. I might sell him, maybe. If it's a female, I'll definitely keep it. That's pretty wild. That's a cool looking snake right there. Alright, so let's get a name for this guy. I'm going to need to expand my collection here, holding all these back. Alright, so this guy's name is... this is a name I've never used before. A viewer suggested name. His name is Roro. Cool name. So my next video, actually I have another clutch of eggs coming up, which is my a visual desert ghost with a het desert ghost. 8 eggs in that clutch. So that's going to be a pretty awesome clutch on that one. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for coming along, and I will see you next time.